King reneges on promise to spend 45 days in jail rather than pay fine for demonstration. Released after spending only 2 days in jail at controversy whirls over who paid his fine of 178 notes. Rank and file. Asiatics in the street here are saying with tongue-in-cheek chuckle that a Georgia jail right now is too hot for Reverend Martin Luther King, famed exponent of the use of Gandhi-type non-violent resistance on the part of Asiatics in this country in their struggle for full civil rights. And we know civil rights was deemed unconstitutional. And first-class citizenship. Noble Drew Ali made it very simple, as far as all men are created equal. So there's no reason to try to bring anything after that. If you can't enforce that, why are you trying to make other stuff to enforce? You have to enforce all men are created equal and endowed with unalienable rights. The cause of action is Reverend King himself, who reneged on his widely publicized promise to spend 45 days in the Albany jail, rather than pay a fine for staging a demonstration parade without a city permit. The obtaining of a permit being a primary requirement before any parade can be staged on the city streets. Charged among with Reverend King was one of his chief officers in his Southern Christian nonviolent leadership movement, Reverend Ralph Abernathy of Montgomery, Alabama. Both were given the choice of serving 45 days in jail or paying a 178-note fine. They refused to pay the fines, branding them unjust, and were then ordered jail by the presiding city judge. After being ordered to jail, in a statement reported throughout the nation by press, radio, and TV, King told reporters, "I am not doing this in any spirit of martyrdom or for publicity, but because of my strong belief in the principles involved. I would be as wrong as the court if I paid a fine under the circumstances." Despite his stirring statement, after only 2 days of confinement, he was released, as was Reverend Abernathy. Reverend King professed no knowledge as to who or how the fines were paid, thus giving rise to a whirl of nationwide controversy over this subject. Chief of Police Lori Pritchett, after saying that the fine was paid by a well-dressed Asiatic man, had refused to give any further information on the subject. Following the release, there was a report that in New York, the members of a county Republican committee had contributed $1 each to raise the fines and sent the money to Albany. There were also reports that New York's Governor Rockefeller had gotten into the case by calling upon U.S. Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy to take steps to assure Reverend King's personal safety. So it might have been he was an agent working with Rockefeller. Rockefeller wasn't going to help any kind of movement that was going to make any kind of headway towards salvation. So he may have been a Rockefeller agent. Rockefeller had gotten into the case by calling upon U.S. Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy to take steps to assure Reverend King's personal safety. So he was an agent, a Mason that been to the mountaintop. Indeed, it was also reported, but without White House confirmation, that the president had taken some action in regard to Reverend King's release from jail. Since the nonviolent resistance campaign started in Albany nearly 2 years ago, some 800 Asiatics have been arrested, in some cases as high as 700 notes each. Since his release from jail, Reverend King has sought to have all those arrested released from bond and freed without trial. Sound like an agent to me though, brothers and sisters. One report last week had it that such an agreement had been reached, but was later denied by Police Chief Pritchett and the mayor of the city. With other demonstrations reported planned by Reverend King and his group, the chief of police also let it be known that those in any parades or demonstrations without a city permit will be arrested. On Monday of this week, Mayor Asa D. Kelly Jr. refused to give King and his group an audience in the face of repeated hints of more demonstrations, following which, at a Monday night rally, King called for a nonviolent protest, which will turn Albany upside down. I feel like there's like a real agenda towards the Asiatic youth in regards to being a man and being in the struggle. You have to go to jail and get hit in the face with rocks, but you got to just stay peaceful. Like, I really don't feel that, man. I feel they was trying to push an agenda. But like Marcus Garvey, Noble Drew Ali, they was going through real struggle and real revolution, and they was put in jail, and they was martyrs. But these people try to ride off the coattails of the real martyrs. But I feel he may have been I feel he was an agent, because there's no way he was adept in the Christian Bible and not know that there was contradictions. There's no way he didn't know about nationality and birthright. You know he studied, and especially again, he was an adept in that Bible. He didn't see the contradictions, and he didn't see that it was not salvation for the Asiatic nation. I feel he was an agent, brothers and sisters, down to perfection. And the way he would talk to get into your spirit with the frequency and everything, man, he had it down to perfection, brothers. Even down to the way he speaks. Like all these Asiatic preachers that speak with all this energy, but they have empty words. Can you imagine Martin Luther King speaking the way he did, but with the words of Noble Drew Ali? It would ignite enough fire within one more to knock down 100 men. So maybe the way that these preachers, these Asiatic preachers speak, maybe that's the way Noble Drew Ali spoke, but he had that power with the words also. You know what I'm saying? So they're giving you the emptiness of the carcass, but they're not giving you the words and the gnosis and the truth. Everything mimics around Noble Drew Ali, I feel. So even the way these preachers speak, because Cook Bay interviewed, that's kind of how he spoke too, and he was around the prophet. He spoke with that up and down when he speaks like how a preacher speaks. Adolf used the same type of demonstration. Even down to like Macho Man Randy Savage, the way that they speak to hype your spirit up, you know what I'm saying? But you got to have the words that's going to go inside of the spirit. You can't just have the dead carcass, get them all hyped up, then they step out of the church and don't know what to do. We got more demonstrations coming your way, brothers and sisters. I hope you enjoyed Islam.